so and corn. So we partner with someone else, and so yes, you can shop for your fruit and your veggies and your herbs at the same time. Nothing like fresh herbs, everybody. I grow them in my backyard too. You just let them dry, and I don't buy any herbs during the winter. I got them all.
Okay, so we came on a little late on Facebook, so I'm gonna do a reverse right quick. And again, welcome my special guest tonight on Fit Boston and Beyond, home of the health and wellness for the community. Tonight, we're talking to the executive director, Pat Spence, of the Urban Farming Institute. And there's so many magical things happening there. And one is we're talking about food. So how can I get one of those beds that you're saying that you guys will come to my house, put it in my backyard, and all
That's right.
to get healthy? Tell me how I can get that bed.
Real simple. I'm going to say it real slow. Info at urbanfarminginstitute.org, or give us a call at 617-989-9920. The key is we were very blessed. We received a grant. So we are ready to start building. We built a bunch in the spring, and we'll be ready for another wave. And again, we are gearing it to Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan. We get calls from everywhere. We wish we could help everybody.
Well, I'm definitely going to make sure I get on the list and you guys videotape being in the back. I have a great area, and that's something I haven't done. I do live in a wilderness, so to speak, but I haven't gotten to the point where I'm planting a lot of herbs and vegetables in my yard.
Well, so. and let's be real. When people start, they're like, where do I start? I want to grow 20 million things. I in my own backyard, not that I need to do this too with the Farming Institute, but collards and kale are a staple. All my herbs that I love are a staple. And for example, just 2 tomato plants. That's really, if you take care of them, that's all I need. I used to start with 6 and too much more. Just 2 tomato plants. And my mother loves okra. We have 19 okra plants. My mother, we harvest okra every other day.
Oh,
and
wow.
My mother eats okra all summer. She loves it. So you kind of pick, you don't pick everything. You pick what you like. And again, collard greens, why get them at the store when you can just harvest them in your backyard? And I mean, again, from June, July, August, November, I've harvested them in December. They don't always last that long, but yeah.
Now, something that I really want to talk about is because I've had the opportunity to work with you. Some of the things that I learned is really taking ownership of your food. Absolutely. Can you talk about that when you speak about someone planting food in their backyard, growing it, and then eating it versus buying it from the store? Can you talk a little bit?
Number one, you said it so eloquently. You are in control of that food, but it's also a learning experience. You can, depending on where you are, if you're from Jamaica or from down south or whatever, there's certain foods you're accustomed to and you eat all the time. So look for those foods, and then how can you make them in a healthy way? That's the other thing if you're looking at health. Collard greens. I gave collard greens to a friend once, and I harvested them that day. And I said, oh, here are the collard greens. The friend sent up this elaborate, cooking the collard greens down, 4-6 hours. And by the time they did step 1, the collard greens were done. And Ooh. Why? Because where are your collard greens coming from in the store? If you pick them and you don't have to wait till the leaves are so big, they cook down real quick. You're not talking about hours and hours and hours with our collard greens or collard greens that you buy yourself. So that's the beginning of taking control. And just imagine when you go in the store and you're buying herbs, even dried herbs or fresh, where are they coming from? And how long did it take? Did they come from California? Did they come from another country? Why are you doing all that when you grow them in your backyard? And let's make no mistake, everybody does not have a backyard. Let's be clear, because we need to be sensitive to that too. There are many community gardens that you can grow food, but if you even have a little bit of a porch. So my mom is the poster child for elders growing on porches. And I got to tell you, she has got tomatoes to last her the whole summer.
Wow.
She won't buy a tomato at all. She's already had 3 and she's got enough. And she's got 4 tomato plants and beet greens. So for those that like beets, everybody, you got to eat the greens too, not just the beet. You get the green, you eat everything. And so my mother now is just growing beets, but just for the greens, and just to mix them in her salad. But she's got herbs. She's got a ton of things on the porch. She grew string beans on the porch last year. Scallions on the porch last year. So wow. yeah. So you want to take control of that food and know what you're eating. And then again, depending on where you're from, oftentimes you can grow the food that you like the best as far as vegetables.
Well, something that you're saying that's really appealing to me and or inspiring is that I can get healthy.
Yeah.
So you're speaking of kale, just collard greens. I mean, I don't know if you're doing the cucumbers, but you got the
cucumbers, absolutely, cucumbers.
You got all of these things that you can grow that are healthy for you. How can we pass these things on down to our children? Because now
you're with them.
Okay, talk more about that.
No, you do it with them. I mean, and then for UFI, Urban Farming Institute, it's about getting into the schools and getting the kids excited. So they're going to go home and say, Mommy, we can grow this here. Or Daddy, we can grow this here. So we're trying to get to everybody, trying to get to our seniors, trying to get to our children. But particularly when COVID hit, what were families going to do together that would get them out of the house safely? So those first wave of boxes we did started in May, and it allowed, and we had one story, the grandparents were then bringing the grandchildren over to actually learn how to grow. Or the parents are now teaching, the daughter. And I know one story, the daughter was maybe 4. And so once the snap peas started growing in the spring, the dad is eating the snap peas, the daughter's eating the snap peas. And it's just so exciting for kids. To be honest, it's exciting for everybody. Okay. When my mom harvested her first tomato, she was running to show me that first tomato. Now she's seen a tomato before, right? But it was her tomato. So the kids feel the same way. Oh, you pull a carrot out of the ground. I grew that carrot. And if the child did not like carrots before, well, if they grew that carrot, there's a whole different scenario. And then when you're talking about eating healthy, well, now how do you cook it? And how do you cook it? So maybe instead of putting, meat in the collard greens, maybe you try something else. If you're trying not to use pork, maybe you're using turkey, smoked turkey. So there's so many different ways to change that. And that brings us into something else. We have a series coming up called Destination Cuisine. Okay. In late summer, early fall. We are beginning to bring guest chefs on at this point to teach folks, how to make healthy food. And oftentimes they will use produce from our farm. And then so we started that. We did 2 of them with Chef Quasi Kwai and Chef Otto. And so we'll do some more in the fall.
Well, that sounds really exciting. Tell me a little bit more about your senior programs.
Well, you were there at the beginning, Brandy. You were there at the beginning. We started a wonderful program called Fit Around the Farm. We thought we were doing it for 12 weeks. Well, that was April of 2019. Brandy, we're still doing it with the seniors. The seniors never left. They never left.
That's so good.
So when you were there were about, 18, 19 seniors. Mm-hmm. Brandy, there were 70 seniors.
Wow.
70 seniors. And now they're coming from all over the country because of Zoom. So when COVID hit, we thought, well, we can't do the program because seniors don't know Zoom. But who is it for us to say that our seniors? So I said, no, let's get the seniors on. So we hired a consultant and they're on. It's a wonderful thing in regards to if you're isolated, number one. But that's where the guest chef program started. We bring those guest chefs on. And I am here to say I remember one senior on graduation. She said she put that salt shaker away.
Yeah.
And now they're using herbs opposed to a lot of salt. They're cutting down on sugar and they're trying new things, which is so exciting. We think our seniors, you just go eat the way you always ate. No, the guest chefs come on. They're fun. They're engaging. And we've got seniors that are trying those recipes. So we give them the recipes and everything. Yeah.
And what's good is people don't know a lot of seniors take care of children.
That's right.
A lot of young kids that they care for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, how can we help? How can the community help? I'm gonna put up something regarding your phone number.
Sure.
But people don't know that it's a nonprofit.
It is a nonprofit, and the biggest way to get involved is if you can just come by the farm, particularly during our farm stand. If you can't, literally just call us if you want to bring your family by. And yes, it is COVID, but it's okay for a family to come by. Just let us know when you're coming by. If you want to support us financially as well, you can go right to our website and donate, because that money goes right to the people that are training the farmers, running the programs, and to the programs themselves. And we are right now somewhat revamping our whole educational offering so that next year we can do twice as much as we've done before and include everybody. Growing and eating, it includes everybody. So from the babies to the seniors.
Yeah, I love it. I just having that opportunity, one, to see you do something as exciting as get people moving and then get the exercise piece of it. But just people being able to go outside and be able to pick their own vegetables. I
That's
think
right.
it's so exciting.
Yeah,
So
and also volunteer. I mean, folks might want to your folks might want to volunteer. We used to have 750 volunteers a year. Obviously, with COVID, we can't do that. But if there are one or two folks that want to volunteer, you can give us a call regarding that as well. So there's many different ways, and we've got programming. Just always go to our website for any programming. And then lastly, if you want to learn how to become a farmer, email us and say, I want to become a farmer, because that farmer training program starts in March of 2022. And so we bring people on. The program is once a week on a Thursday, 2.5 hours, 9-week program. And then if you really, really now want to farm, we really, really want to do it, hands in the dirt. We've got a 20-week program, and you have to be vetted, et cetera. You have to be accepted into it. This year we have 6 folks that are with us for 20 weeks. It is 8 to 12 every day for 20 weeks, and they are becoming farmers. So we've got all different ways to learn how to do this.
Oh, you're doing such an amazing job changing the health of the community by getting them to dig in the dirt and to take ownership of what they grow so they can live healthier lives. So I just want to say thank you. I had a great time working there myself and learning more about food and fitness as well. But just being a part of the community, I want to ask you that question. You have now become true fabric of the community and making it healthier. How does that feel?
Well, food, there's so many people that don't have food. I don't mean to sound like a cliche, but you don't have really time to think about it. There's just so much need. And so we're just literally trying to figure out who can we help the next day? Who can we help the next week? We did a meal bag program. It was pre-made meals last year. We delivered 4,640 meals between October and April. And it's not a meal for a person. It would feed a family of 2 to 3.
Wow.
So, but then we stopped because we had to start growing food ourselves. But the need has been so great. We're starting again. We're going to start that program for folks that really are in need of food. And my theory was have it pre-made, because we got some tired folks in our community too.
Yeah.
A lot of sickness. And though it's great to give fresh produce, and we do that, but it's also nice when you don't have to, you have a family and you're working and maybe there's a sick family member that you don't have to cook for a night or two. And so we found that was helpful as well. So we just started that back up again. Yeah.
Well, I just love it how you're changing the health of the community, and you're actually changing them from the inside out, because people don't really pay attention to what you put in your body.
Yeah.
The effect that it has just on your energy, just on your overall growth, cell reproduction, all
Absolutely.
Of things, how the food really impacts us. So I just want to say thank you for really educating us and getting us thinking about eating healthy, and
That's right.
coloring a little more healthier than what we've been doing.
That's right.
And my next question I'd like to ask you, COVID hit. So what was something that happened exciting for you guys with COVID?
Well, COVID, I mean, you never want it to happen. That's key. But we were able to, many businesses, not just ours, profit, nonprofit, you had to, the keyword pivot. And so there's a couple of good things that happened. We actually ended up with a virtual farm stand, for example. So you can actually order produce ahead of time. And we actually started doing our seedlings, and we were able to do all of that through our virtual farm stand. So you could actually order online. So that was brand new. And then we found that just the way we managed our farms, and it's not just one, that's the headquarters I mentioned, but we have 5 farm sites. We grew 15,000 pounds of food last year, and probably donated between, I can't remember the number, 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of food we donated through a place called Rounding the Bases, wonderful partners of ours. So, the ability to do that, the fact that we had the virtual farm stand, we reorganized so that kind of the way we managed the farms was a little bit different, and which worked and we're still doing. So things like that, we developed new systems, and even the farm stand, and it was a good thing because there was such dire need and people really couldn't pick and touch, food at that time. We didn't want to touch anything at that time. So what we did was we put together produce bags. And so you would come, we put a value on the produce bag, but if you couldn't afford it, we just give it to you.
Oh.
And so we said, forget about that line item in business that says revenue. Forget about it. People need to eat. Yeah. And so we've been feeding people with that thought in mind. And if someone needs a bag of food, we're going to give it to them. And plus, we take EBT, SNAP. We take all this major credit cards. We take all of that. But again, if you don't have it, we give you the food with all due respect, and we ask you to come back and get more food next week. So those are some of the different things that we've done. Yeah.
So we said on Fridays, people can come out from 1 to 4 and buy food. You guys, I have the information posted right here on the screen. It's the Urban Farming Institute of Boston, located at 487 North Fork Street in Mattapan. If you require additional information, feel free to call 617-989-9920. And you can always email them at info@urbanfarminginstitute.org. That's right. Change your health by eating.
That's right.
So here's an opportunity to learn how to do it by growing your own food.
You can do that too.
Thank you, Pat Spence, for being on today's show, Fit Boston and Beyond. And I look forward to working with you and speaking to you as you continue to progress and do exciting things in the community.
And let us know when you want that box, Brandy.
You can bring my box anytime.
Okay, we're going to talk about that.
Because I have to talk to you anyways. But I want to wish you nothing but the best. You guys heard it right here. Go on out. Get up to the Urban Farming Institute and be part of the change and changing your health. Also, donate. Did you hear what Miss Pat Spence said? She told you today that they are able to give out free food. They can't do it alone. They need our assistance. So make sure you make a donation. It could be a small donation. That helps to put food on someone's table. All right, Pat, I thank you for your smile. So I know the Urban Farming Institute's working for you. And again, thank you for being on Fit Boston and Beyond. I'm going to put your information back up on the screen for a second.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do, Brandy, as well.
Thank you.